So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by Ben Murray. He sings and plays guitars in the band Darkness Everywhere, who are releasing it's their debut record because they have an EP, so their first full length on May the 10th. So, first of all, Ben, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, thank you for doing this. So I listened to the album, and of course, I read the bio, and yeah, it does sound like that you wanted to do a band that is very much influenced by that melodic death metal, for the Gothenburg era, the At the Gates, and all those type of bands, and it does have that type of feel. So I know you're in other bands. So with this project, why did you decide that you wanted to do like that 90s melodic death metal sound?
Yeah, I've just always been a huge fan of that sound since high school. Since Laura, my best friend Laura, and I started the band Light This City, and that was kind of the origin of me writing material in this sound. And so I kind of see Darkness Everywhere as almost continuation, not of that band specifically, but of that sound in my head, of me being a fan of that sound and writing that kind of music. Specifically influenced by that era and those kinds of bands. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know that Laura does some she does some vocals on The Architect of Misery, which is
hmm
one of the singles that you put out recently. So tell me a little bit about that song and having Laura doing vocals with you on that track.
Yeah, no, I love that song. It's one of the kind of heavier ones on the record. I mean, they're all heavy, but it's one of the more kind of dark sounding songs. And no, I mean, like I said, Laura's just been a really good friend of mine for, since we were kids. So it's a fun way, even though we don't play in a band together anymore. We did for 2 decades playing bands together. And so it's a fun way to keep her involved in just the kind of overall picture. And I have fun collaborating on music with her, and she has a lot of fun. She has a kid now and all that, so she doesn't have as much time to be in a band or do stuff like that. But it's a fun thing to keep that world, for the Light the City fans, to keep her kind of screaming away every few years or something on at least a song.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's long story short, just a kind of way to keep working with her, by putting her on Darkness songs here and there, because she was on our EP too. Also, she was on a song called Survival of the Sun. So this is now the second song. So I think maybe we'll put her on every record. Who knows?
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice that you get to, like, first of all, keep the friendship. There's no bad blood between you guys, and she can collaborate. So that's very good to hear. So I'm sure that Darkness Everywhere, you've gotten fans that were from your previous band have come over to this band. How would you say that they're differently sonically?
Yeah. I mean, while Light the City and Darkness Everywhere kind of come from the same place with influence, I just think with Darkness Everywhere, myself and Cameron Stucky, who I started the band with and who writes the music with me, we kind of wanted to focus more on the just kind of dark melodic realm of that sound. So with not getting too thrashy, not getting too death metal. Like, there's parts here and there that are thrashing along or are have blast beats or whatever, but the sound, we didn't want it to be confused as anything else except for melodic death metal band. We don't want people to say, oh, they're kind of a thrash band or they're kind of a this or that. It's like, no, we wanted to really just stay the course, and that just comes down to the style of riffs, honestly. Because we just don't we do a lot, we cover a lot of ground, but we don't break out of a certain um box, I guess. I don't know. I look at that as a positive thing, not a negative, but
Yeah,
we
maybe
just
it's
try to
it's
yeah.
that sound. Yeah, because it does have that sound from this band, and most of the songs are like 2.5 to 3.5 minutes. It's not a very long album. Like it goes by short, but yeah, it's got those something that I liked about those bands from the Gothenburg era, the In Flames, the At the Gates. I'm forgetting names all of a sudden, but they
Dark
all have
Tranquility, all those guys.
the Dark Tranquility. All those bands, I think that they have that. It's that toning guitar that they can be heavy, but also it's melodic at the same time. You know, it like you listen to it, you're like, yeah, they're from that area. Not to say that you don't put your spin on it, but yeah, it obviously you're very influenced by those bands. And the other single that you put out, right? You have two other singles. You have Retaliation, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, opens this new album. That one really opens the album like really like heavy out of the gate. Tell me a little about the themes that Retaliation is all about.
Yeah, I mean, the whole record is kind of, I mean, To Conquer Eternal Damnation, that title of the record
Yeah,
is
that's
kind of
very old school sounding.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I like the name, but it just, you know, with my lyrics, I never like I don't write in first person. Like I never say I or reference myself at all. So, but because I don't want the lyrics to ever feel like super personal, or like for this style, I wanted it to be more metaphorical, and just I wanted the imagery to run wild. Um, so through that though, the record is very personal. I mean, all the songs I write are, and Retaliation is a song that kind of, you know, coincides with the theme of the record. You know, kind of To Conquer Eternal Damnation to me is like to conquer, you know, to basically rise above everything that life tries to make you be, and you know, the kind of evil that gets inside you, and all that stuff, and can kind of make you like, you know, a monster, you know, or make people, you know, society can corrupt you, life can corrupt you, and all this stuff, and you know, a million things can be thrown your way to kind of make your world vision really bleak and all that. So it's kind of a record about trying to defy that while kind of basking in your kind of evil sides and whatnot. so so Retaliation is just a song about kind of you know, it's just kind of a spiteful song about being a vengeful person.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
yeah,
it's
it's
just
true.
about these ideas of getting one back on your enemies, or you know, people have done you wrong or anything like that. But it's all very, you know, just it's a lot of imagery, and it's a lot of, you know, hellfire and fucking all this shit. But personally, it's just kind of like a way of me saying, hey, you know, fuck this, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah,
you
and
know, I'm generally pissed. It's just a way of saying that, you know. But
it starts the album really well. Yeah.
thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a cool song.
So yeah, we offline we were joking a little bit because I saw a new Dayside put out an album recently, and Glenn Benton was making fun of modern metal bands because
Yeah,
they have glasses and look like Weezer. And I turn it, I'm like, he has glasses, I have glasses. I'm like, we could pass like Weezer fans. I don't know, like, or
yeah.
the Weezer look. Like, what do you think about this? About the like the image?
Yeah,
Because I remember last year also. I interviewed Two Mold. I didn't ask them because, but they were on a cover of a magazine, and people were talking
I
about
know.
the shirts they were wearing, and I'm like, who the hell cares? Like, well,
I remember that whole, you know, controversy, or you know, it's not very controversial to me, but yeah, I mean, some old school metalheads can't accept the fact that, you know, people, and not everyone's gonna have long hair and wear leather jackets with studs and whatnot. You know what I mean? But
no.
you know, for most of my life anyway, I've looked like this. I like looking like this, and I know a lot of brutal metalheads that look like this. But I do think it's funny that I do appreciate Glenn Benton's point of view. I think it's hilarious.
I
It's
think it's
fun to
hilarious
read,
too.
you know what I mean? And I would expect nothing less than, you know, from someone like him. You know,
So
it's very man.
I'm guessing you're not getting an inverted cross on your forehead.
No, not anytime soon. I mean, you know, I'm not I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Christianity by any means, but no,
But that's hard.
no inverted cross anytime soon.
That's hardcore. So you're a busy man because you play on Darkness Everywhere. You also play guitar on A Wilhelm A Wilhelm Scream that I see the poster right there, and
Oh
you have
yeah.
a record label, Destructor. When when do you find the time to relax, man?
Oh, I mean, I still am able to relax. Like I'm lucky enough to, with the between the label and touring with the Wilhelm Scream for the those are my two main gigs. I work from home and I just kind of do my thing. It is very busy, and touring is the most exhausting part. It's the most
Yeah.
fun part, but the most exhausting part of my life. Um, but I mean, when I'm home, I get to, I don't go out a lot when I'm home. These days, I kind of stick around, so I get I get some sleep. I'm not as busy as it maybe looks like, but no, I like to stay busy though.
Yeah.
I like
So
to
I want to ask you
always
about
have
the
something.
about your record label. How did it
Yeah.
come about, the process of creating your own record label?
Yeah, no, I started Creator-Destructor in high school in 2006. So I think I was like a senior in high school, and yeah, I remember when like the city was on Prosthetic Records, I went down there during high school to like intern for them for like a week. I think it was part of like some high school project or something, but they let me go work for Prosthetic. And so I
Nice.
went down, hung out there, and I remember just seeing the whole operation, just being very inspired. Like, this is really cool. I like this. Like, I feel like I want to do something like this. So, just when I was, 18 or whatever, I started putting out at first just CDs from metal bands in California and stuff, and then it just grew from there. And yeah, what is it? Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
What's that?
So
Oh,
your
18 years
album
later.
Darkness Everywhere, are you putting out on your own record label?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'll
That's,
be out on Creator-Destructor too. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yep.
that's amazing. So what has been your experience, like doing that, because having your record label, the band, which what part do you enjoy the most? Like or maybe it's like some days you enjoy most the being in a band, and some days you rather like be behind the scenes.
No, I mean nothing beats like playing live, Nothing
Yeah.
beats playing music. I mean, even if you're practice, I love practice. I love, touring. I love playing shows. So that to me is like the most fun thing you can do. But the label work is just as fulfilling in a different way. I love contributing to the metal and hardcore scenes, and doing playing my role in it and helping bands and stoking them out, putting out their records. Um but it is usually just me behind a computer or behind, down here or wherever. Just it's very solitary, for the most part. I mean, I'm communicating with people all day, emailing bands and talking to people, but it's just a one-man job I'm doing. So um, the touring is definitely more fun, I would say. But
Yeah.
it's all enjoyable and fulfilling.
So when you're talking to bands, like what do you look for in bands that you want on your record label?
Just riffs. It's got to be good riffs. I mean, that's the simplified way of saying, the songs have to be awesome. There has to be some kind of, factor to the band, like something about the band that sets them apart to me in some kind of way. It could be slammy death metal, it could be hardcore, it could be, punk, it could be anything. It could be, melodic death metal. I put out a kind of wide range of heavy stuff, but it's just got to be authentic to me and got to kind of cut across. I don't, it can't be like a cookie cutter version of something, or it's got to feel genuine. It's got to feel,
Yeah.
authentic, and the songs have to be awesome. I can't really, I've never really been able to get behind something or, help promote something that I didn't actually think the record was awesome. So,
That
you know,
makes sense. Yeah. Like, yeah.
yeah, yeah. You could look super cool or do this, that, and the other thing, but if the riffs ain't good, I have no interest.
No, yeah, it's all
Yeah,
about the riffing. Uh,
yeah.
so how much do you say that this full length debut is different from the Seventh Circle?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's a way more realized like version of this band.
Mm.
Like any band's first record is going to, there's only so much you can put out there. It's often the most authentic, or kind of just like, it's the first draft of a band kind of. And it usually matters the most, why it's so important. But that's why I didn't want to put out
It's
a
like
full
your
length.
presentation, like
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you only make one impression, you know what I'm saying? So for us, I wanted to keep it shorter. That's why I just wanted to do an EP and let that cook for a couple years while we played some shows and all that. But I think this record is just, I mean, I didn't play drums on this record, which is the first difference. I played drums on the EP just because we didn't have a drummer yet. It was just me and
Yeah, I
Cameron.
was reading. I think
So,
you did a lot for the first one. Yeah.
yeah. Cameron.
You Dave Grohl did, like they say.
Yeah, exactly. So the new LP is the first one with Garrett, our drummer Garrett, on recording, and he rips. He's way better than me. He's way sicker, faster, tighter, and all these things. So so the songs naturally, Cameron and I could write certain things without being limited to like what I could play on drums. So some of this stuff is like faster and more intense in general. And then I just think, dude, the riffs are just better. I think we evolved. Like we wrote
Yeah.
better songs, more concise. There's more guitar solos. And my voice I worked on a lot to try to get it more metal sound. Like it just I wanted to evolve my voice and get some more gnarliness to it. And so if you listen to both records back to back, there's like some vocal differences. But yeah, I mean, I just think the songs are just better, they're just more intense. We've trimmed the fat even more, like it just hits harder.
Yeah.
Better.
Plus, you were like you've gelled more as a band, so you feel more comfortable. Like what works for the band and what doesn't.
Exactly. That's a very good point too. Yeah. I mean, we've now played a bunch of shows together. Before on the EP, we weren't even a band yet. It was like, I mean, it was a band in our minds, but we had never played a show. We had never had a practice or done anything.
Yeah.
It was just Cameron writing it. So yeah. So now it's like, there's an actual group established and a really good vibe and all that stuff. So
Yeah. And then I like the name Darkness Everywhere. Like what inspired the name of the band?
Thanks, man. Honestly, we're just trying to come up with a cool name, and it fit to me. I came up with it, and it sounded strong. It sounded, and lyrically, it kind of. I mean, it's a pretty broad term, It's just like, so it really falls under the lyrical themes I talk about, because it's not lyrically, it's not really about anything fantastical or anything. It's about like humanity and the depths of hatred and things like this. So Darkness Everywhere felt appropriate, and it sounded good, and it's hard to confuse. It's not like, I've learned from the past, like with band names, it's got to be easy to remember when you say it once. It can't be like, what was that? Sorry, say that again. I've had that a lot in the past.
Yeah, no. Plus, it looks good on the logo.
Thank you. That's the most important thing, obviously.
It's got a good look on the logo.
Yeah.
So the third single, the final one that you released, was this Starving Eyes.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that one.
Yeah, that's just like an ass kicker song, man. It's like it's the first track on the B side of the record, and it's really short. It's like 2 minutes and 15 or something like that.
Yeah, it's a short track.
Something like
It pummels you like into submission, and then it ends.
Yeah. And it's again one of the heavier ones. Like the opening, closing riff is pretty heavy and stuff. But I mean, overall, it's kind of like a mid tempo, just trods along in this way that I like. I say trods in a positive way, but it just kind of unrelentingly mid tempo kind of thrashing beat, or and I don't know. I like it. It just felt there. We decided, like the solo at the end is awesome. It's one of, I think it might be Cameron's favorite solo on the record. I don't want to speak for him because he wrote and played all of them, obviously, but that solo is really cool. And yeah, it's just a heavy song.
And the solos on this record, I like it because they're clean sounding. You can really listen to them because there's some bands that they're so extreme that sometimes the solo it get muffled, but the production on this one, it's really clean sounding, and you can really listen to the solo, because I think that's, if you want a solo, you want to fucking listen to it.
Yeah, totally. I appreciate that. I can't take any credit for that. That's all Cameron and Zach. Zach recorded it, obviously, our bass player. He also records our records. So in terms of the production, that's all Zach. But in terms of, the solo, writing and playing the solos, that's Cameron's wizard. He's, the best musician I've ever played with. So yeah, he could play the shit out of that guitar, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's good, and that's what you want. So I want to show the
Yeah,
artwork for the record because the artwork is pretty cool.
yeah.
So here's the artwork for Darkness Everywhere in Conquer Eternal Damnation. That's the album title. That's really I don't know. That really I think of At the Gates with that title. Like that's really like it sounds like a title that that band would come up with. So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about the artwork.
Yeah, it's funny, the art, I mean, it's by this artist Adam Burke, who I've followed for a long time. He's really amazing. He's a painter. Um and he's just incredible. Pretty sure he's from the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, he's just got a crazy style, almost like watercolory. It's just very abstract yet very defined, which I love. And he just paints really evil looking epic kind of stuff. And I was actually just God, maybe a year ago scrolling along his page, and I saw that he had posted this piece, obviously without our logo and all that stuff.
No,
This
of
piece
course.
though, and I was like, and that it was available for sale for license. So I emailed him immediately. I'm like, man, that would fit perfectly for our next record.
You
And our
had to
record was
beat. I'm like I have to send it before some other band gets this artwork.
exactly that's how I felt. I emailed him right away, and I was like, hey, like we'll take this if you're into it. Um, and yeah, the record wasn't even finished yet, being written, but I knew that was the perfect art. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
with
much, I just saw it
metal,
on yeah.
especially melodic death metal, the colors are important.
Very, 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 very important. The artwork is always so crucial, and we wanted it to be very strong and just, yeah, I don't know. We all loved it. As soon as I showed the guys, I was like, "You guys down for this?" They're like, "Yeah, definitely." So
Yeah, I like it. There's like a little. It looks like a ninja.
yeah, little Viking guy with a sword. It's
Yeah,
so
like going to
it's
fight
very
the big monster, very Lord of the Rings like.
yeah, totally. There's a similar little character on the Light the City album, Storm Chaser. There's on the cover of that album. There's a little Viking guy. I actually have him tattooed right there. I don't know if you can see, but so it
Oh,
was cool
you have
about
to show.
something.
I'm looking at the picture now, so I didn't
Oh
see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can see it. There's a little guy with a sword here, but it's from the
Oh
Hate
yeah,
the
I can
City.
see it now. It looks like
That's
four.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so I just the theme of having, you know, little warrior kind of, you know, in the hills of some epic place is something we've done before kind of a little bit. So
No,
it's
yeah,
cool
no,
doing that.
it looks
Yeah.
cool and it goes with the artwork. So, since you write most like the lyrics for this band, what's your process when you sit down to write lyrics? Like, do you know what you're going to talk about before you record, or do you listen to the music and then like see where the music takes you?
It's the latter. I sit I listen, the music's usually all 100% done. And I'll just kind of take song by like track by track musically and just sit down either in my car while I'm smoking or something, like sitting in my car, or I'll go to a bar sometimes and just listen to the demos a lot over and over and just, write stuff in my phone. But I usually choose a track to work on, and then um I start I think a little bit about what the music kind of makes me feel, what I maybe want to write about, but more so I just start immediately thinking of like vocal patterns
Yeah,
and stuff, and then
because
everything.
sometimes
Yeah,
those something you may write it and sound good written, but maybe when you're going to perform it, it won't translate as well.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it's like a puzzle. Songwriting is always like putting together a puzzle, but in this sense, it really is because like I could see where the words need to be and how they need to go. I just don't have the words yet. And so I'll start filling those phrases line by line with an idea. I'll just come up with some kind of um more broad idea, and then it'll take shape at other there's my dog, she's going nuts. Um it'll take shape as I keep writing, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's honestly it's not like a very artistic process. I just sit down and I'm smoking and I just like come up with things that sound cool to me. Like I don't map out the whole album. It's not a concept album. It's not like, songs are about various things. But
Yeah, no, it
but
is
yeah,
like concept records. It has to be hard. Sometimes when I'm
yeah,
talking to people, concept records, they go oh, I rented this house by the lake, and,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
and I was having vivid dreams while smoking some acid or doing some stuff. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess I don't have that brain, or I don't, maybe I'm too, like, not patient enough to stick to a huge, large idea like that. But all the songs end up just thematically being pretty similar to each other, because I can only write about a couple things at the end of the day. Um, in this style of music, you're not really gonna be writing about happy stuff. So,
A breakup song.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be strange too. But but yeah, so I kind of just sit there and start spitballing, like throwing things at the wall. I just focus on one song at a time until I have patterns that are cool, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this song could be about this, and then I'll just start going.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you go do a Wilhelm Scream, is it
Mhm.
like a breath of fresh air that you only play guitar there, right? You don't have to write anything.
No, I mean, live, I mostly just have to play guitar, and I do backup vocals. I'll do some harmonies and sing
Okay.
a good amount with them. But writing, I haven't written anything in the past because I just joined the band like 2 years ago ish, and but we are writing a new album, and I have written a lot of material for that,
Oh, cool.
contributing towards that, so that should be cool. We're still putting it all together, but hoping to get in the studio by the end of the year for a new Wilhelm record. But so I will be writing music for Wilhelm, but I'm not going to be writing any lyrics at all. I leave that all to Trevor and Nuno and
Yeah, that kind of takes some pressure out of
oh,
you.
it's great. No, no, no. I honestly, I don't really enjoy writing lyrics. There's some people that do. I don't. I do it because I can, and it works. Um, my voice works in Darkness Everywhere as the singer, so thus I'll write the lyrics. But I don't enjoy the process of writing lyrics at all, like by any means. Yeah.
Is it because you're like, God damn it, I gotta think of something, or
Yeah, there's only so many words, man. There's only so many words that sound cool. So it's like it's literally a problem of like I'm running out of words.
yeah,
Like,
and
yeah,
maybe there's.
yeah,
I think I'm sure this will happen to every band that
yeah,
you're gonna write. I'm like, oh, I already talked about this in in another,
totally.
because sometimes that happens to me when I'm reviewing albums, especially when I'm reviewing like some death metal albums, or I'm like, there's just so many ways that I can say it's brutal,
Exactly.
it's pummeling. I'm like, I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta find some different things to say about it that is not, because if not, I'm just saying the same things.
Yeah, crushing, devastating. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because with lyrics with this kind of style, like I do want it to sound a certain way. I want it to feel and sound. So there's certain words I avoid, certain words that sound better. But it's like once you're specifically in this lane, to branch out and to have enough vocabulary to not repeat yourself, like that's a hard thing. So
Yeah. So
uh,
so yeah. So for me, a breath of fresh air is when I reviewed the last album by Taylor Swift.
there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I could, oh my God, okay, I can totally say different stuff about this
Yeah, you
one.
don't have to say heavy for once
No,
or
no, no, there's
brutal.
no heaviness on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I know the album's coming out on the 10th of May. So
Mhm.
right in time for Mother's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess so.
so if your mother likes some melodic death metal, you can give this album to her. I know mine wouldn't want it, but there
Yeah.
has to be
But
some cool mothers out there that would like it.
absolutely, everyone should pre-order it for their moms for sure.
Yeah, where
Yeah,
can they pre-order? Are you gonna have it on vinyl, CDs?
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be available on vinyl, CD, and tape, and we have merch and flags and all these kind of cool merch items, long sleeves, shirts, all this stuff.
Did you say you have flags?
Yeah, mesh flags, like
Oh,
the one
nice.
behind, like these things.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have those. But yeah, it's all available at creator-destructor.com, or our Bandcamp, which is like darknesseverywhere.bandcamp.com.
Yeah,
But
I'll put the link for people who want to pre-order that. So,
nice.
so once the album is out, I know you're going to be booking more shows. You had a few
Yeah.
shows in. I think you played a show in 420. if I'm not mistaken.
We did, yeah. We played in Redwood City, which is like where we all kind of grew up, more or less, or where like the city kind of started, that area, about 30 minutes south of San Francisco
Yeah.
in the Bay Area. But yeah, we played a show with our friends in Crepuscle and this band, The Hunt. So a bunch of homies, and it was really fun. That was,
I'm sure everyone was stoned.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's like any day. It doesn't have to be 420
It
for
doesn't
that.
have to be 420,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it could be 419 or 421. But yeah, no, I mean it was really fun. It was a good show. And yeah, we've only played like maybe 11 or 12 shows, not that many shows as a band.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So tell me,
but yeah, hope.
what was your first show like with the band?
Oh yeah, our first show was it was the Creator-Destructor. I did like a fest, like a weekend
Hmm.
showcase show in the Bay Area in 20 God, was it 22? 2022 was our first show. It was April of 22, and it was cool. It was just, I did 2 nights in a row. The first night was more metal and the second night was more hardcore, and I put Darkness Everywhere on the hard, or on the metal show, and it was like us and Upon Stone and Mutually Assured Destruction and Doomsday and Cartilage and Crepuscle. So it was a sick,
Wow.
super sick show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mutually
Yeah, that
Assured
was our first one.
Destruction. They must be Megadeth fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool. But yeah, I think that was the full lineup. Um, but yeah, it was awesome. I don't know. We only had, we only had 6 songs, so we played those really quick, and that was that. But it went really well.
Well, the bad thing about that is at the end, if everyone asks for play one more, we're like, we don't have one more. Like
Exactly.
we could do a cover or something. So now that are you gonna have like an album release show for the record?
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting that together right now. So hopefully, sometime in the early summer, that's gonna be going pretty soon.
Awesome. And probably follow the band on their socials so you can get, where more tour dates will be popping up. I'm guessing that's what's next for the band, getting this record out and playing more shows live.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We'll be uh definitely ripping across the West Coast, and hopefully a handful of shows on the East Coast soon. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot of stuff. But check
Yes,
out the album for sure.
sounds great. So Ben, I want to thank you for taking some time of your busy day to chat with me here virtually on the couch about Darkness Everywhere, A Wilhelm Scream, your record label and all. So what would you like to say to the fans of Darkness Everywhere before we go?
Oh, I mean, cheers. Thank you guys. If you're a fan of the band, I appreciate you. And I hope you like the new record. I think you will. And yeah, check that out May 10th. And check out creatordestructor.com for a lot of dope shit, a lot of dope records and releases. And yeah, melodic death forever, I guess, huh?
Melodic Death Forever. Yeah, that sounds like something that Anthony Fantano would say.
Yeah, exactly.
So, people, you heard it here, Darkness Everywhere, May 10th. You also heard that A Wilhelm Scream is going to be working on new music as well. And please support also small record labels because, they put a lot of effort into like getting underground bands out there. And, it's a one-man show like I do, a one-man production. So it's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
again, Ben, thank you for your time. So
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Hell
so
yeah.
until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.